Greetings, car fanatics. So this weekend I have the pleasure of having this 1999 Porsche Carrera Cabriolet. It's overall in pretty decent shape. It has 83,000 miles on it. I really like the way the car looks. I'm not a huge fan of the soft top, but other than that, I think the 996 actually looks pretty great. And the soft top here is showing some signs of aging. There's even condensation inside the plastic windows, so it's showing that moisture is getting in. So I think one of the perks of going after a non-cabriolet, you simply don't have to worry about the top. The car is also lighter, and you don't have any interruptions with the body line. Let's go ahead and take a look at inside the car. So overall, with the 996 versus the 997, you'll find that the layout is fairly similar, though the interior quality of this particular vehicle is really not up to the same standard as the 997. Here you have some really hard touch plastic materials. Also, the knobs just feel really cheap, but I do like how it feels very solid. And then the door here, you have a side pocket just like you do in the 997. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at inside the vehicle. So it's on that you have this little compartment here to hold the manual. You would just think this should be in a glove box, but the interesting part is the 996 does not have a glove compartment. So hence this little tray here for your little manual. That's just one of the weird quirks of the 996. If you look at the gauges, it's the same 5-gauge layout in other 911s, so pretty cool. And this car also has the full leather package, so the gauge cluster is wrapped with leather as well as the dashboard. We also have full leather on the door panels. Alright, so in terms of the radio, you just have a pretty basic radio, nothing fancy. Oh, and interestingly, you have tape holders. I did not know about this, but it looks like you can play cassettes. I guess this is what you should expect for a car made in 1999. You do have some climate control, so some pretty dated, a dated layout, but you have climate control nonetheless. Now, to actually control your fan speed, you use the buttons over here. And interestingly, look how manual is spelled. It's spelled with 2 L's. So I'm not sure if that's a German way of spelling manual or something else, but kind of an interesting quirk of the 996 here. And right here, we have a Tiptronic. So when driving these vehicles, I was actually surprised that the Tiptronic worked really well. It shifted very smoothly, and it seemed to be in the right gear when I needed some power. So overall, I didn't really mind the Tiptronic. Can't imagine how much better the PDK would be. Now this car does have heated seats, so you do have 2 different settings for the heated seats. Pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and start the car up and see how she sounds. All right, let's go around back. All right, here you have the 996 motor. This thing puts out, I believe, 295 horsepower. It's pretty loud. So one of the things people have said about the 997 is that the engines aren't as raspy and don't make as good of a noise. This sounds really good. It sounds really throaty, and I really like the way it drives. Let's go ahead and put this trunk down, and we'll go ahead and turn it off for a second. And then let's take a look at up front. So here you have the front boot, and unlike the 997, this actually has a spare tire. So pretty cool. And then it even looks like you have a CD changer up in the front. So this is the 996 and 1999. It's the .1. So you still have the rounded off fried egg light headlights. In the later, I believe 2003 and up 996s, you'll have the more angular headlights that are also found on the turbo. And let's take a look at the wheels. Got some Michelin Pilot Sport tires, N-rated Porsche spec. We have some 4-piston calipers in the front, along with cross-drilled rotors. All right, car fanatics, let's talk about what I like about the 996 and what I don't like. So I have to say, overall, there's more I like about this car than dislike. The reason being is I know this is a 1999, so I don't have the same expectations for this car as I would a new car. The driving dynamics for this car is amazing. I mean, I wouldn't say it feels modern, but I actually think that's a good thing, because if you think about modern cars nowadays, like the M4, electronic steering, turbochargers and stuff like that, there's more that gets between you and the actual driving experience. I feel like the 996 feels like a very pure driving experience. For one, the car is really small, so it even makes my 997 feel big. I like that it's small because I feel like the car is really connecting me to the road, and the handling is just really nimble. Additionally, if you look at the total package, the power, the 295 horsepower with the Tiptronic even, it has pretty decent get up and go. So I was never really in a situation where I felt like this was underpowered, especially knowing that this car is a 1999. The steering feels really direct, along with the suspension. The suspension is firm, but you know, the car is really nicely composed. This car is nearly 18 years old, and the suspension is holding up nicely with 83,000 miles on it. There aren't a lot of like squeaks and rattles or anything like that. The car just feels very planted, just like my 997. So that I really liked. In terms of some things I don't like, now the interior of the car definitely feels dated. You know, the materials used aren't as premium as in the 997 and current 911s, but it's kind of to be expected from this era. Additionally, the car, you know, just doesn't have as good of reliability as the 997 and newer Porsches. But nowadays, if you find a 996, it's probably going to be well sorted if it's still running, because owners probably have changed out the IMS and RMS when they went to go replace the clutch. So with that being replaced, I mean, the car isn't that unreliable. Now, this particular car has had some issues. It actually failed to start a couple weeks ago because of the shifter linkage being broken, but luckily that was a cheap fix for the owner. So those are all the things I kind of really like and don't like about the car. Overall, I'd have to say, if you're in the market for a 911, especially your first 911, I highly recommend the 996. While the exterior looks a little bit dated, I still think it looks pretty great, and has that iconic 911 shape, despite the fried egg headlights. Additionally, you know, for about $20,000 to $25,000, you're going to get a really great driving experience. I don't think you'll really find too many cars that will deliver the same driving experience at the price. So definitely consider the 996 if you're in the market for your first 911. I think if I didn't purchase my 997 and had driven a 996 beforehand, I probably would have just purchased one of these and saved about 35 grand. Well, there you have it, Car Fanatics. Just a very quick review of the 996. Overall, I really like it and recommend you drive one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave any questions or comments below.